Hello everybody and welcome to Vivid Collectibles. My name is Danny and I'm going to be talking to you and giving you my review on XM Studios' Nightcrawler. This piece has been out for probably about a year and they only made 249 worldwide, so a very low edition size. This was their answer to Sideshow's Nightcrawler, which is also very popular and very well done in my opinion. I did own that. I decided to sell it and keep this one. You'll find out why during the review. But this statue is enormous. 32 inches tall, 17 inches wide, and about 16 and a half inches deep. And it weighs 48 pounds. Of course, this is made by XM Studios and their design development team. I'm not sure who sculpted this. I'm sorry to that person because they did an amazing job. But this statue is really great. Very few things to complain about. It came with a lot of switch outs, so it has two left arms, two right arms, two portraits, and two different tail options. One holding a cutlass, tail holding nothing, just with his little devil pointed end at the end, and that looks pretty cool. And Nightcrawler, his name is Kurt Wagner. I'm not all that familiar with his character. I do know he's Mystique's son, but that's about all that I know. Obviously, this and Sideshow's, he's fighting one of these large sentinel hands, and this has a more realistic take on it. Again, even though it's comic book, and the same thing with the classic outfit, they took liberties and made it more modernized. So that's my intro. Now we're going to get into paint and sculpt. Actually, we're going to be doing the concept art, not paint and sculpt. That'll be next. But as far as concept goes, you have a Nightcrawler who's very acrobatic and very agile. And they did a tremendous job of showing you how acrobatic and agile he is. He also has like teleportation powers. They call that the Banff, right? That purple like cloud effect. So they did an amazing job of not only showing you how agile he is, but also that teleportation as he's ready to strike down on this large sentinel hand that's presumably in the danger room, as illustrated by the sub base right here. You can see the danger room. Underneath you have all these great looking copper wires and more of that, some of that nice like bronze, nice dark bronze all throughout. And again, there's your danger room aspect of the base and this ridiculously large sentinel hand coming out. It's massive, but it's also really well done. You can see that metallic, like dark teals on it, and then the bronze inside with some texturing for the fingers. All of the joints that make this ridiculous arm move. So it's done well. It's painted beautifully. There's a lot of battle damage. You can see all of the details throughout. You see where it's been attacked by Wolverine right there. The joints for these fingers to move, done exceptionally well. So obviously he's under attack, and this thing is massive. I mean, I've said it before. It's crazy big, and then some of that purple Banff effect throughout the base. Nice, like a dark purple with some lighter purples, and some of the dark grays in between. It looks really good. They did a nice job of highlighting it and painting it. That looks very good. As far as painting concept, so far so good on the base. We move up. You have that tentacle from the Sentinel, also very well done with a lot of battle damage. Like a shiny metallic finish to this. It almost reminds me of Dr. Octopus's tentacles as well. And he's just keys in basically by this leg and that index finger. So he's attached to the index finger and he goes into that part of the base, and that holds him up. I'm assuming he's got a large rod through between that and the finger. So this is the finger he comes pre-attached to. He gets attached to here, and then the rest of the parts put together. It's a little bit of a chore. There's a lot of moving parts. But, it wasn't terribly difficult to assemble. Again, let's continue with the concept. So, yeah, they were going for showing you how agile, acrobatic he is, and also what a great fighter. They did all that, and lots of switch outs. The paint scheme is very well done, as usual, by XM Studios. But as far as art direction and concept, they captured everything that makes Nightcrawler, from the teleportation powers to his ability and how acrobatic he is. And also nice tie to Wolverine with a little damage in the back of the base. Obviously fighting a Sentinel is like a classic X-Men story. So that's pretty cool. Now we're going to get into paint and sculpt.
A few moments later.
All right. So as for paint and sculpt, so they went for a grittier look, even though this is again comic book based. It looks more realistic than cartoony. I like how they did the metallic finishes on this large sentinel hand. All the joints are highly detailed, very well painted. So everything has a lot of attention to detail. You can see where it's been ripped off. You can see the cables hanging out of it. All the little rivets and joints that make this thing move. Cables everywhere. Highly detailed, very well painted by XM as usual. So the paint on the base is really great. A little bit darker than Sideshow's, and obviously they were going for that. But it works very well because they have the nice like dark teal metallic paint job contrasted by that very like bronze-like color on the inside. All the nice textures on the fingers. The bath looks really good, very well painted and sculpted. So paint and sculpt are great on the base. I'm going to give you an up close one of the portraits, right? So paint and sculpt on the portrait is outstanding. The teeth look very good. The enamel looks real. The yellowed out eyes look great. The hair flow looks phenomenal. Painted very well. This is the classic portrait with the longer hair and those pointy ears. Everything looks really good. Very neatly done. Very well painted. As for the swords, right, I'll give you an up close to one of the cutlasses. This is a metal piece, right? And the handles look good, nice detail, nice gold finish. And then his gloves, the white with some nice textures and paintwork, and they're dirty for effect. And then the little red pieces of the armor look amazing as well. And this is the plain tail without holding a sword. Looks good. You have the little end here. It's a little smaller than Sideshow's, believe it or not. Sideshow's had a bigger little pointy end to it. But it's done very well. It's got a lot of nice movement to it. Those are some of the switch outs. So as for Mr. Nightcrawler himself, again, I showed you some of the paintwork on the gloves. He does get the boots underneath. Same whited out. It looks, you can see how acrobatic he is and he's holding on. Good paint. Very nice fabric effect on the boots. Looks phenomenal. Same thing with this sword. A lot of great detail. Very nicely painted. And you can see the handles have a lot of great detail as well. There are some seams, which, you know, that's almost inevitable with something like this. But it's custom, again, it's classic with modern takes. There's a lot of this like black gloss throughout for separation. It really does a nice job. There's some textures on the suit, like dark blue. The blacks do have a lot of blue highlights, so it's not just a plain black. Great musculature. He looks very athletic. Not overly muscularly done, very well. You know, the parts of the suit that are metal look fantastic. I love the red. Nice, vibrant red. Painted beautifully right there on the sides of the leg. Again, I can say it all day. The textures and the paintwork on the suit are great. I like the modernization of it. It looks phenomenal. And this here is the portrait that I'm going to choose to go with, which is the short hair one. I think it's done really well. Again, the teeth are awesome. The eyes are great. And then the hair is amazing as well. And this is some of the detail on the sword handles. They look great as well. Also metallic, these rapiers are. And then this is the switch out tail holding that other cutlass, also metallic. But overall, him himself, he's pretty light. The base is extremely heavy, but he's very stable. I do like that. So for paint and sculpt, I mean, I gotta give this thing a 9 out of 10. It's damn near perfect. It's painted to perfection, and I love the sculpt on it. It looks absolutely great. So now we're gonna get into the switch outs and what I think of them.
1 hour later.
Okay, so this is the switch out short hair portrait. You can see that fierce look in him. The tongue is painted beautifully. The teeth look real. The gum lines are great. The expressions are on point. The eyes look phenomenal. The ears, the hair, the blue tip frost looks really good. This is my favorite portrait of the two. I'll be using that. And then, of course, you have two, like I said before, 2 right arms, 2 left arms, and 2 tails and 2 portraits. As far as switch outs go, I mean, you have options. You can go with, you know, him holding the rapier on the left hand. You can be holding the cutlass on the right hand if you wanted to. I choose to go with the two rapiers and also the tail holding the cutlass because I think it just looks best that way. But again, you can go with the regular tail, which looks good, nice plain. There's no textures on that, just a nice solid blue. And if you want to go with the rapier, it looks good. There's also came with one of these little cards that they used to give you, the little plaques. They don't do that anymore. It was a nice touch. I don't think it was ever necessary, but it helped. So I think, so many switch outs. This statue looks amazing. You have so many choices. You can even leave him headless, which of course I'm not going to do. But it looks really great. Lots of different options for switch outs. And I think you'll be happy if you get this piece. So let's get to my closing statements.
2 hours later.
All right, so my final thoughts. I owned Sideshow's Nightcrawler, and I think it's beautifully done. The colors are a little more vibrant. They certainly pop. It's much more comic accurate. It's a little simpler piece, but it's just as dynamic. But when I got this one in and I paired them next to each other, the XM1 has so many more details. Plus, it's just as dynamic as this is as well. So for that reason, I ended up selling Sideshows, not because it's a bad statue, but because the XM1 is just far superior in every area, including switch outs, paint and sculpt. Edition size is only $250 or $249. Price point, obviously this one was pricier, close to $1,100. The Sideshow one was like $650. So you're getting much more of a deal with the Sideshow, but they also made 3,200 of those. So for those reasons, I decided to keep XMs. I think it's the far better statue. It suits what I want better. And but honestly, you couldn't go wrong with either one. For me, I think XM did a great job. And it's basically more of what they do so well and why I just hope that their future is bright, because certainly the hobby's better when they're in it and they're able to produce statues like this. So hopefully they can turn it around. Let me know what you guys think in the comment. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time.